Hello, 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 everyone. Pleasure to be here tonight. We are going to be doing a reaction to some of Amber Lynn's diet programs over time. Hopefully, we will be getting an interesting look at what not to do, what to do, what should you never do, what does Amber do right. We may be getting a special guest on later, but until then, thank you everyone who's come by. I appreciate everybody who's here. And let's get started. Hopefully the noise in the background isn't too much. If it is, you can do something about that. Okay, so why don't we get started with the reaction? We're going to be starting off here with one called The First and Last Days of Amber Lynn Reed's Diets from someone named Aloe Mineral Water. So hopefully this will be a good one. Hopefully we can get some interesting opinions from this. Let's give it a watch.
It's the first day that I am going vegan. I am super, super nervous, anxious. I'm so nervous and anxious that my stomach actually hurts. But I'm also really, really excited to go on this journey.
Few moments later.
Someone said she was only a vegan for 4 days. She already is back to eating crap like she was before. No, I was a vegan for 6 days, actually. And the process of being a vegan is so freaking hard.
Hello, it's ready.
Hey guys, so I'm so excited to talk to you about what's about to go down. This is not clickbait in the slightest.
Hello,
Things
hello,
are
Blondie.
about
How are you doing?
to
thank you. Yeah,
change.
thank you, Blondie. I appreciate the
been this pumped and
compliment.
this amped, this excited,
And no problem,
anxious
Drill.
in a
Glad you
very
could
long
come by.
time.
Let me
So,
actually hold on a second here. Let me
you guys ready
get
for
you in the
it?
chat
There's
real
a program called Optavia that thousands and thousands and
Want to mind
thousands
you also,
and
Drill, real
thousands
quick?
and thousands and thousands of people do. Okay guys, welcome to day 3. I was getting into my head
Yeah, today we're just
so bad. So I
watching
was
this
starting to
old
get
Amber
down
Lynn
and
video.
out at that point. At that point, I had
And
some friends
old
over.
Amber Lynn video. It's
We were
actually
about
a
to have more
compilation
people
of the
over. We were gonna have a
beginnings.
bonfire.
Okay.
And I was just like, is this even worth it? Like,
1 second here.
this
Let me turn
food
down-
sucks. So we were having a bonfire and everyone was sitting around with their hot dogs and their chips and their this and their that. And I'm just like, can't have any of it. Like emotionally,
Darn it, I accidentally took it off the screen. All right, here we
I
go.
felt so good. My mind and my brain was like,
All right, minor technical difficulties there, folks. Sorry about that. I had the video running in the background. I forgot to turn it off. Yeah, just wanted to say hello to everyone. So yes, this video here, we're just introducing some of Amber Lynn's beginning of her diet, the ends of her diets. This one here, she started off with veganism. Veganism. I have a lot of respect for vegans. Hopefully this is a little bit louder now, Blondie. Let me make sure my settings are correct. I'll boost myself up just a little bit. Okay, hopefully that should be a little bit better. All right, great. So yeah, the beginning of her diet started off a vegan diet. Not really the best choice for somebody who's already very overweight with disordered eating. I guess I'll give a trigger warning to anyone now if you're watching the replay. If you haven't already been triggered by watching Amber Lynn, we're going to be dealing with subjects around eating, possibly disordered eating. If that's uncomfortable for you, you might not want to listen. But assuming that you're okay with that, and you're not already too bothered. Yeah, veganism. When it works great. But it is something that requires a lot of planning, requires a lot of patience. You have to really know what you're doing to do a vegan diet properly. You can't just grab, some stuff off the shelf that says vegan and think that you're going to be eating well on a vegan diet. That's not a good idea. And if we have any vegans in the chat, hopefully they would agree with me on that. That a real vegan diet of vegetables and beans and tofu and all that real hardcore vegan stuff. That's that can work. But when you're just eating the artificial the artificial imitation chicken and the imitation beef and all that stuff. If you're going to eat just lots of imitation meat, you might as well just eat the meat. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to really do the vegan thing right, do it. But if you're just, but if you're going to end up eating fake meat, you might as well just eat the real meat. Well, thank you, Blondie. Let me put that up on there, actually. Thank you very much, Blondie. Yeah, a little bit late for anybody coming in, but better late than never, right? And that's my fault, not Blondie's. All right, let's keep it going, though. So she's talking about her vegan diet, and it's already failed. And just one last thing I'll say about diets, for this second, is that a big thing I've noticed about Amber, and I'm going to mention this again, is that she goes too extreme. She goes from eating 5,000 plus calories a day to eating 1,600 calories a day. That is such an extreme change, and it's unnecessary. She could lose weight, I'm sure, at 3,000 calories a day. And I'm not saying she should eat 3,000 calories a day. I'm just saying that if she ate that much, she could be losing weight and it would not be such a struggle. But she's going all over the place. Yeah, I could see that from Jarella. It just, to me, defeats kind of the whole point of the veganism. The veganism is all about having natural ingredients, natural vegetables, raw foods. And those imitation meats are all full of chemicals and artificial flavorings and all kinds of things like that. I don't know. It's a complex subject, but, it just feels like it's backward. Maybe some of them are good. I'm not going to say that none of them taste good. I'm sure some of them taste okay, but, it's whatever. So we're talking about Amber. Let's get back to Amber. Thank you very much for your comment there. I appreciate that. Sorry, folks, just getting used to this interface a little.
It's like a fog was lifted. It's wild. It's a really wild ride, and it felt really good. But again,
And hopefully Amber's loud enough for you. I can make it a little bit louder.
Was living in fear, and I was trying to find tons of excuses to quit. I'm gonna be honest. I was trying to find every excuse to quit, and I found one. So I got to thinking, I was like, how many calories am I eating in a day doing this program? So I logged everything into MyFitnessPal from day 1 and day 2, and it was only about 900 calories. So
What?
I got a little freaked out. I honestly was freaking out. I'm gonna be real. I know a lot of weight loss people.
Let's go back just a few seconds here. I want to hear that again. She said that she was only 900 calories a day.
So I got to thinking, I was like, how many calories am I eating in a day doing this program? So I logged everything into MyFitnessPal from day 1 and day 2, and it was only about 900 calories.
Wow.
So I got a little freaked out. I honestly was freaking out. I'm gonna be real. I know a lot of weight loss patients eat around that amount. It's like 900, 1200, and then eventually they eat 1500. And that's how it is with this program. You start off by eating 900, and then once you get closer to goal, you start eating more, and they start teaching you how to not eat their feelings, but choose healthier meals throughout the day, and eventually your calories do rise and get higher. And I started getting freaked out. I also had a lot of people.
The fact that she was on only 900 calories a day is pretty extreme when you think about it. Because what was she at, 5,000 about on her average? I'm thinking, I don't know when exactly this was recorded, how many days after she switched to the 900 calorie diet. But I don't even believe that she was really eating 900 calories a day. If she was really eating that little, she would not be sitting there so calm and so happy and just, kind of talking about it. She would be famished. 900 calories a day would have anybody extremely hungry. Extremely hungry. Well, maybe I shouldn't say anybody. Maybe there's some people who can subsist on that, but most people would be very hungry on 900 calories a day. Someone like Amber, who's accustomed to eating over 5,000 on average, or at least well over 3,000, probably over 4 or 5, that would be absolutely crazy for her. She would be, she'd be chewing at the furniture. She'd be so hungry. And I'm not saying this to joke. I'm just saying this as somebody who, when I couldn't go down to 900 calories a day, not for 2 days in a row without getting really, really hungry. All right, let's go back here. And I only eat about 2,500 a day on average. So somebody eating twice what I eat is going to go down to less than half what I eat. I don't see how that's possible because I'm certainly, not overfed.
In my ear telling me, yeah, 900 calories seems too little and all this stuff. And I was just like getting scared. But the thing was, I wasn't hungry at all.
This is absolutely unbelievable. This is absolutely unbelievable. She was getting scared like it was too little. First of all, what was she even scared of? Anybody in the chat want to guess? What was she scared of? She's scared she was going to go hungry? I mean, I'm not trying to fat shame, but come on, let's be realistic here. I hope that's not what she was scared of. But what could she actually be scared of? That she's going to lose weight too quickly? I don't think that's anything to be afraid of. I just don't believe that she was really on 900 calories a day. Oh, hello, Green-Eyed Lady. Pleasure to have you in. Thank you for coming by. We're just talking about how Amber here is claiming to only eat 900 calories a day on her vegan diet. This is in the past. We know now that obviously this was false. But even just listening to it in context, it's unbelievable. It is just unbelievable that she's eating 900 calories of vegan foods, no less. If you eat 900 calories of vegan foods, assuming unless they're those kind of like artificial meats and things, if you're just eating like raw foods like vegetables and beans and tofu and things like that, she's going to be so stuffed as far as the amount of fiber that she'll have consumed, but she's also going to be craving certain foods that she can't have. So she's not going to be feeling good, on this 900 calories of just vegetables that she's claiming she's eating. Although to be fair, I don't know exactly what she claimed. She may have said she ate 900 calories of vegan bacon or something, knowing her. But yeah, 900 calories is just an unbelievable diet. And the fact that she says she's not even hungry on 900 calories, that's the part that makes it so unbelievable. If she said she was on 900 and she was absolutely starving and she doesn't think she can go one more day, I could possibly believe that. But for her to say, I'm not even hungry, I'm eating only 900 a day, didn't even realize it till after I totaled up the calories, that is so unbelievable. Who falls for this crap?
I felt satisfied, and every time it was time to eat again, I was like, I wasn't even hungry. And I just felt really, really good. So I messaged my health coach and I told her I don't think I can do this anymore.
What? She said that she's doing so well on this diet that she has to quit. Did you hear her logic? She said that she's there's no appetite, she's eating so little, she's eating so few calories. She messaged her coach and said because this diet is so effective, she's going to have to quit. That is the most insane thing I've ever heard. Green-Eyed Lady points out she's lost 85 pounds on an 1,800 calorie diet. That's a much more reasonable number, and that sounds, and I think that was probably a lot more realistic, for a long-term goal. I mean, look how successful you've been. Whereas, Amber is trying to do, at best, she's going to do a crash diet, which the results are not going to last. I mean, I don't know her full history, but I believe she has had some weight loss success short term, but she just gained it right back because it was just like a crash diet from my understanding. But, yeah, exactly, Blondie. She felt so great she had to quit. She wasn't even hungry. She was just enjoying. She would forget to eat because she was so full, and she called her diet coach, said, I can't continue this. I can't continue feeling so great and not being hungry. This diet's not going to work for me. And Green-Eyed Lady says she wasn't hungry either, and she's on Weight Watchers. Well, see, I could believe yours though, unlike Amber's, because you're not claiming 900 calories a day. 1,800 calories a day. I could believe that. That could be satisfying. As long as you're eating, the right things, that can do it. Yeah, Weight Watchers can be a good program. But most programs can be good if you follow them. I'm not going to say, but there's a lot of programs out there that are crazy. They're silly, and I wouldn't recommend them. Like any of those, anything that's too extreme or promises anything too crazy, that's something I would watch out for. And Green-Eyed Lady here is saying 900 calories is supposed to be for people with bariatric surgery. I believe I have heard that as well, for people who have physically restrictions, physical restrictions, medical restrictions. They, and also because the I don't want to presume too much, but I would imagine because their weight loss is so critical that they get their weight down quickly. They can't afford to like take a couple years to slowly lose it because they're already, their health is possibly in danger. So they can't afford to just kind of slowly, take the weight off. I mean, if they could have done that, they would have done that already, realistically, right? If they were somebody who could have slowly and methodically taken the weight off, they'd already have done that by that point. Oh, an interesting thing here, Granny points out, you have to be on a lot of vitamins for a 900 calorie diet. That would make sense because 900 calories of food, depending what you eat, but that's probably not going to have enough vitamins for the average person. I take a multivitamin every day because I know that my diet is not perfectly balanced. It's not the worst, but it's not the best either. And I don't pretend that it is. Some days it's great, but some days it's not so great, and that's why I take the multivitamin. If you're always eating great, you may not need one. But if you're somebody who doesn't always eat as best as they could.
Ended up having brown rice that night, which you're not allowed to have on program. And I had
What kind of program is this? She's not allowed to have brown rice on her program. This is the craziest program I ever heard. A vegan diet where you're not allowed to have brown rice? I mean, I'm sure maybe there is some. I'm not going to say there isn't. I'm sure it exists. But it's just, this is a very odd program.
a cup of noodle.
So, and a cup of noodle
to have on program. And I had a cup of noodle.
So her diet program was telling her to avoid brown rice, but a cup of instant ramen noodles, that's fine. That's fine. Avoid brown rice, which is pretty darn healthy as far as, rice and that kind of carbohydrate-laden food goes. It's complex carb. And instead have the ramen soup, which is just about one of the most unhealthy forms of junk food you can have. That's not to say that ramen can't ever be good. It can be tasty, but it's loaded with carbs and fat.
I ended the day at about 1,600 calories. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to stop doing Optavia, and I am just going to, eat less and eat healthy. Why am I doing Optavia? Like, this was the worst idea I've ever came up with. Hey guys, welcome to the...
That is the most nonsensical explanation I've ever heard for quitting a diet. She said she was too full. It wasn't enough calories, but she was totally full. Didn't have any issues with her appetite, and maybe she was losing weight too fast. She was getting scared. And then she says the diet doesn't allow her to have brown rice, so she's going to switch to cup of noodles, and that's going to be her new diet because that's healthier. That is just, no part of that makes any sense. It's completely insane. Yeah, Blondie, all the time. Have the ramen soup. I should be on panel tonight, Green-Eyed Lady, hopefully. And we may even get a special guest today. Skinny Queen might even be popping in a little bit. We will see. Ramen is not a safe staple. It really is not. Quitting a diet because she was losing the weight too quickly and she felt too good on it. She didn't have any appetite. Yeah. And I will say that ramen is not the worst thing in the world. I'm not going to say that you can't have some ramen on occasion, but just keep in mind it's a lot of calories and it's very easy to eat a whole bowl of it. There's a lot of sodium too if you use the whole seasoning mix. So just use a portion of the seasoning packet if you're concerned about sodium, or just use something else. Use just some broth or something. Just avoid ramen in general, but if you have some once in a while, it's not too bad. But don't do the Amber Lynn Reed and then add, oh yeah, she also adds salt to the ramen. Has anybody seen that, how she makes the ramen? And then she adds another 5 tablespoons of garlic salt or something. She has a lot more sodium. Okay, let's keep it going.
First episode of Operation Curvy Calories. Hey guys, so normally I would say welcome to Operation Curvy Calories, but I feel like Operation Curvy Calories is under construction, if you will. I decided that I'm no longer gonna be doing it because the thing is, I lost majority of my weight by not filming every single move. Hey guys, okay, so welcome to a new video. We are in my bathroom. This is good lighting. I love my shower curtain. I don't see anything wrong with it. But I did wake up recently. Another disclaimer. So this video is about weight loss. I'm going to be sharing my weight, what I'm going to be doing to lose weight, and what I'm just going to be doing to continue this journey. I've been hearing about this app for a while now, and like I've been saying, I need to try something new because all this stuff I've done before clearly isn't working. The app is...
Okay, let's just stop for a second. I like the idea of her trying new stuff. I like that. I'm a big believer in be experimental. Does not hurt, well, as long as you're careful. But it shouldn't hurt to try new diet programs, exercise programs. If something's not working for you, change it. Absolutely. Don't stick with a program that doesn't work for you. At the same time, the way that she says nothing else is working for her, she's lying to herself. The truth is, she's not working any of these programs correctly. The diet programs that I'm aware of that Amber's tried, she's tried calorie counting, which we all know for a fact works. She's tried Weight Watchers program, which Green-Eyed Lady has had success with. I also know that it works. I've used it successfully in the past. It's a perfectly fine program if you stick to it. Going vegan, if you could stick to that, that'll work. I have a family member who keeps weight off by eating a vegan diet. So none of these programs are bad programs on the surface, and none of them are bad programs at all, actually. If you really want to break it down, these are good programs. So for her to say that programs have failed for her, could she really articulate any way they failed? I'd be interested to hear that from her. I'd be interested to hear Amber explain in what ways these programs have failed her. Because I'm not hearing that. I'm hearing that she's not sticking to the programs. And I'm not saying that you should go with a program that you can't stick to. The opposite. You want to find a program that works for you. If you can't stick to a program, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. But if you can't stick to any program, then that's a little different. But if there's a program though that doesn't work for you, switch it. For how long did I was unable to be successful with weight loss because I was always having a big breakfast, because that's what I was taught. You're supposed to have a big breakfast. But when I did that, it would just cause me to eat more calories throughout the day. So you have to be experimental sometimes. Don't just go with what other people say works, including me. Don't just go with what I say either. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you.
Called Noom. Hey guys, so welcome to a new video. Today is a weigh-in, weight loss, explaining my thoughts and where I'm going from here type of video. I can already see the fire in people's eyes, but that's okay. This is about me. This is my journey. This is no one else's journey. And as long as I'm losing weight, who cares if I changed my diet or eating lifestyle 17 times a day? So what I'm going to be doing is the good old, wonderful, fabulous, inspirational Weight Watchers. We're going back to the Weight Watchers, and it is what it is. It's just what I feel is right for me in this moment. Hey guys.
Well, let me just also give a little context for this. This is titled The First versus Last Day of Lynn Reads Diets from a channel called Aloe Mineral Water. If you enjoy this video, check out that channel. I like to give credit where it's due. I did not create this video originally. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I've been drinking too much seltzer.
Welcome to a new video. This video is all about my weight. So, I was gonna keep this to myself because I know how people react to things, and that's totally fine. But I actually am starting Jenny Craig tomorrow.
Hey guys, so welcome to day 6.
Hey guys, so I stopped filming after this because I did overeat. Some will call it a binge. So it was probably 10 minutes after the meal that I showed you guys where I was like, I am so hungry. I need all the food. And I was like telling Becky, I just want something unhealthy. So that's what happened. And I mean, it is what it is. I'm here to be honest. Hey guys.
You know, again, you got Amber. She went on a Jenny Craig diet, which is the kind of diet you can get right back on if you slip up. It's the kind of diet. It's not like a keto diet where you have to get into ketosis. It's not like it's not a. It's just basically a form of calorie counting with pre-made meals, so you could just hop right back on it. Just go right back to your Jenny Craig meals. The Jenny Craig meals are all prepackaged. You're supposed to incorporate some of the of your own food that you cook, but if for some reason you fall off the wagon, you have a day where you eat pizza, or I don't remember what it was she said, she ate something, she had some kind of a binge. Instead of saying, you know what, I had this binge, all right, this week's not gonna be a good one, maybe I'm gonna gain a pound this week, or maybe I'm not gonna lose anything this week, but I'm gonna get right back on it. Still have all these Jenny Craig meals and everything, you know, sitting around, she could still eat those. The program did not fail her. I'm hearing a lot of justifications to quit. I'm not hearing any failure from the programs themselves.
So welcome to a new video. I know you guys are probably rolling your eyes at the title, which I understand. Like, you guys see me as this very indecisive person, and I am an indecisive person. I live with myself 24/7. Just imagine how Becky feels. So yes, I will be doing Jenny Craig again. Hey guys, so welcome to day 3 of Jenny Craig. So I'm struggling really bad. I want to order food. I want to just not care, because for me today is a Sunday. It is Sunday currently. And I'm like, okay, well, tomorrow's Monday. I could just start over. That's where my head's like currently at right now. Oh God. I ate my bar, I want to say it was about an hour and a half ago. And while I was eating it, it was tiding me over like great, fantastic. And now I'm just like, oh my God. I would kill for like a big bowl of pasta. So that is my update. And I told myself, you know what, even if I like fail more than I don't not fail, wait, what? Even if I fail more than I succeed, or vice versa, for the next 30 days, I will be just talking about what I'm eating and following my weight. Hey guys, so welcome to day 0 of a new series, and I am so excited. So hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn Reed. I have been on a weight loss journey literally since I was 11 years old, and I have done nothing but lose and gain the same like 100 pounds repeatedly, and I reached my highest weight of 572.4. Then I was able to lose almost 100 pounds recently, and I ended up gaining a ton, and now I'm...
That's pretty. I was not aware that Amber lost as much as 100 pounds. But before we get into that, though, first of all, hello, Tara Lynn. Pleasure to have you. Sorry for posting the pictures the other day you weren't a fan of. I'm gonna try to be a little more, I don't know, figure something out. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I wanted to point out something Amber does here. The Jenny Craig program. Jenny Craig program is, like I said before, it's a program based around pre-made meals. You incorporate some of your own food as well. But the strength of the Jenny Craig program, from what I am familiar with, is that it doesn't require any thinking or planning. You just eat what's they give you. They give you, a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner, and like a snack bar or something, and then you add some vegetables of your own, like a plate of broccoli or something like that, and that's what you get. and it's great for people who are very busy, people who don't know how or don't like to cook. For someone like Amber who has a lot of time, it's really not a good program. Because she can make her own food that's going to be tastier than the Jenny Craig food. If you're somebody who has to work, very much, you don't have time to cook or something, or if your family is eating something, they all eat very unhealthy stuff, and you don't have the option to cook for yourself, the Jenny Craig program is a good program for someone like that. But for Amber, it doesn't make sense for that reason, but also because, and maybe somebody can correct me on this, from my understanding, the program is not for somebody as heavy as she is. Because like we said earlier, she could go down to 3,000 calories a day and still lose plenty of weight, because her maintenance calories are probably 5,000 or so. So she could certainly cut it down to like 3,000 calories and still be losing weight. The Jenny Craig program, I want to say, puts you on like 1,600 or 1,500, maybe even less. It's a pretty low calorie program, maybe a little more, I'm not sure. I'm sure there's some flexibility as well. But even at the higher end of it, it's probably not going to be much more than 2,000 calories. For Amber, that's just not going to be enough. She's going to be, look what happened. She said that she ate her Jenny Craig bar, and a couple hours later, she was starving. She had cravings. The Jenny Craig diet, the food is tasty, but it's not very filling. The portions are pretty small, from what I've heard. So it just seems like a very poor choice for her. And Tara Lynn points out this too. She sits at home and has nothing else to do but think about what she is going to eat next. And if she wanted to, she could choose to prepare all healthy foods. It's up to her. One second, folks. Hold on. I got a little technical difficulty real quick. All right, got that solved. All right. Yeah, she can hire a cook to help her. I can't tell the word you want to say. No worries, Blondie. I got your point. She can hire a darn cook or something, right? Yeah, that's something that kind of bothers me a little bit. That she has the opportunity and the time to cook, but she could enjoy learning to cook. Oh, let me put out my little disclaimer as well. Doctor disclaimer, I am not really a doctor. If you think you need a doctor, please go get a real one. Oh, my little song also. Okay. Back to the show at hand. But yeah, I thought that was worth pointing out, though, about her diet program.
Sitting
Go a little
here
deeper.
around
Let's hear a little more.
5:50, and I feel miserable. I feel horrible. I am ashamed. I'm disgusted. I'm embarrassed. So this series is called Curvy Calories, and I know I've done something like this before, and I literally only lasted a couple days, but there's something different inside of me versus the last time I did it. Curvy Calories was great in context, but constantly filming my food thoughts is a new trigger for me. Weight loss content? Sure, but a daily basis series? It's an idiotic, impulsive thought. I actively jumped on the gun and made a fool out of myself. Yet again.
Goodbye.
Yeah, at least she showed a bit of insight in that last one where she said that something in her had changed as opposed to blaming the diet. Okay, if anybody has any thoughts on that, we got another video I was going to go to. Oh yeah, she could hire a nutrition specialist. That would, when we consider what your health costs you as you age, right now she still hasn't had too many side effects. But if you compare, the cost of hiring a nutrition specialist or a personal trainer or really anyone who could help her. And I say this, sometimes hiring a nutritionist can be redundant. If somebody just refuses to stick to a diet, getting a nutritionist isn't going to change that. But in some ways, she seems a bit ignorant about nutrition. So I do think there could be value for her to learn more there. Oh, and yes, Terrell, I don't talk about this enough, the importance of activity and exercise. And that's because I could be a bit lazy myself. But back when I was more serious about losing the weight, I was doing a lot of exercise. 3 times a week, I was hitting up the gym. And I was, really working out a few hours each time. So it would, not a few, but like 2 hours each time. Hey, Bamboozle, glad to have you. But we just watched a little clip about Amber Lynn and the beginning and the ends of her diets. And they noticed a lot in common between them. And here's, again, we talk about how she's dishonest to herself and all that kind of thing. Here's a video that I haven't watched, but I watched the beginning of it. And this one's from Dainty. I'll put the link in the chat for the vid. Ooh, Bamboozle with the great point. These big girls do need to swim. Swimming is probably the best exercise for somebody who's severely overweight, because it's one of the few exercises that's not going to put the weight onto their joints and won't aggravate painful physical conditions, at least any more than they need to be. So it's really a great choice. And there's so many pools available in a lot of places. So it's, yes, Chantel's in Canada, but they have indoor pools there. Swimming pool would be exactly what they need. And also just stretching and maybe some of those exercise bands, some resistance exercise, doing a little bit of weightlifting. That would be very helpful. Bamboozled says she lost 10 pounds, not even trying, just chasing her dog around. Yeah, you'd think that would be a good activity. I know that I think Amber likes pets. I know Foodie's had her. I'm not going to talk about Foodie's pets. Howie, she's got a little Howie there. I don't know about Howie. I like Howie, but I don't really like his family. That's how I put it. All right, so we're gonna watch this one here. Let me pull up the other one. 1 second here. A calorie counting lesson from Amber Lynn. Start that just 1 second here. Oh wow, she even has a pool at her complex. Yeah, I had a weight room at my complex, and I took good advantage of that for a while. Like I said, I haven't been as diligent lately, but that's a great activity. And I've noticed now that a lot of women are really into the fitness thing. When I was younger, when I used to go to the gym and the weight room, you didn't see as many women. Now there's more women than men working out. It's become a very common thing. I know some women used to feel like awkward. They didn't want to go to the gym. They felt it was, like it wasn't feminine. But now you see more women than men there. So I don't think that would, I don't see any reason why she wouldn't go. I mean, yes, she's heavy. That could be, awkward for her, uncomfortable. But there's a lot of gyms like Planet Fitness that their whole marketing is specifically to people who are not in the best shape. So, anyone here familiar with Planet Fitness? Not necessarily the best gym, but if somebody is concerned that they're going to be judged unfairly going to the gym, at Planet Fitness, they don't even allow you to wear like a sleeveless shirt there. They're so uptight about making sure people feel comfortable. So she wouldn't be able to wear her leggings in a public pool. Yeah, right? She wouldn't be able to do the dress code properly. Okay, let's see how she does on the Jenny Craig era, because I was talking about the Jenny Craig era before and how I felt Amber Lynn was a very poor choice for the Jenny Craig diet. Let's listen in a little bit. Let's hear why. Let's hear why I think this is. Let's hear some details rather.
Hey guys, so welcome to day 1 of me being on Jenny Craig. I'm really excited. First meal, chocolate dream shake.
Okay, right there. I'm going to start the video in a second, but that's exactly what I meant though. The Jenny Craig diet has pre-packaged, prepared foods, which is great if you're somebody who is very, very busy. But Amber, you know, she's got that beautiful kitchen there. There's no reason why she needs a pre-made protein drink. I love to have a protein shake. I have one every morning, but I make it in the blender. And I'm not saying you have to use a blender. You could use a shaker cup. You could use whatever. And occasionally I'll have a pre-made one if I'm running late, you know, but she doesn't have anywhere else to be. Why not take the time to make her own shakes? You know, that's easy. You know, she's been talking about the surgery since forever. I have not followed Amber for a super long time, but even in the little bit of time I've been following her, she's been back and forth on that surgery at least once. And that's only been in the last few months, I want to say. So I know she's gone back and forth on that multiple times. She will only show her legs when she's dead broke. Yeah, lymphedema is another one that's very uncomfortable. You know, that I mean, I'm sure Amber's aware of that, but I mean, I don't need to repeat that. Oh, and Ozzy with a great point, with a very good point. She says she's been a gym rat for years. She's never seen an obese person be discriminated against. It was always nice to see people trying to get hard. Trying hard to get in shape. Not trying to get hard, trying to get fit. Well, whatever. Trying hard to get healthy. But yeah, that's the truth. And I've been to the gym when I was heavy, and I've been to the gym when I haven't been heavy. And the only difference in my experience was more women talked to me when I wasn't as heavy. But nobody like gave me a hard time when I was heavy. So, you know, like you'll get noticed more if you're in shape, but you're not gonna nobody's gonna be mean to you if you're overweight. In fact, people will often offer to help you. If they see that you're struggling to lift up some weight or something, you can't lift the weight by yourself, you're trying to take it off the machine, somebody will usually offer to help. And if nobody does, then you know what? You're in one of the few gyms where the people there are not fun to be around, and try to find a different one. Or go to like a neighborhood gym. Like if you have a gym in your complex, those things are usually empty. And if there's anybody there, it's your neighbor. And even if they want to make fun of you, they already do because they already see you every day. Seeing you go to the gym is not going to cause them to make fun of you anymore, right? Hello. Glad to have you here, Seafood Bot. Yes, Blondie, it is all the mindset. Hard to overcome that voice in your head. People, when they think they're going to be judged, they feel that judgment even if it's not there. Because people, I know there's some people, they go to the gym and they go really anywhere, and they feel like all eyes are on them. And it's almost never the case. Almost never. I'm not going to say never, but almost never the case. And especially in the gym, people at the gym, you know what people in the gym are looking at? They're looking at themselves. They're mostly very egotistical. They're staring at themselves in the mirror. Or they're staring at their gym crush. Or they're staring at their phone. They're not staring at you know what they will stare at though? If you go in there and you don't know what you're doing and you start doing stuff dangerously, they will stare at you then. And so make sure that if you don't know what you're doing, look it up, ask somebody. Don't be afraid to ask. People will be much happier if you ask them how to use something than if you use it incorrectly and hurt yourself, or even worse, hurt somebody else. So, you know, just be careful and be respectful, and most gyms will be happy to have you. Foodie is getting lymphedema in her arms and upper fupa. See, I haven't noticed if it's lymphedema or just, I mean, I guess it is. She has been getting swelling. I've noticed she's had a lot of swelling in her hands and fingers, but I don't know. Yes, I'm not a real doctor. I don't know how to tell the difference between lymphedema and just regular swelling from retaining water. But yeah, she's headed for trouble, and she also sits all day too. She doesn't get any activity at all. Before she used to at least walk up and down those stairs. As somebody who's been heavy and as somebody who's had stairs, those stairs are a good thing. If you're heavy, you want a place with stairs because it's going to force you to maintain at least that minimum level of fitness. You always have to be at least fit enough to make it up and down those stairs. So you can never get, out of shape beyond that point. So in a way, it's good to have stairs if you're overweight. Oh, Bamboozle with an interesting point here. Amber seeks out diagnoses to hide behind. I see. I don't know her well enough to know that, but that would explain a lot. Explain why she's been back and forth with the weight loss surgery so much. Oh, eating licorice, painting, and listening to doctors. Oh, thank you very much. Glad I could join you, because licorice and painting, those are fine things. So glad I could be in that company. Foodie's face is swelling too. Is it hot there yet? Because I know that when it's hot, that can cause your maybe not swell so much, but it can cause you to become flushed. She's not getting that starfish exertion anymore, right? She used to really work it out. She used to really flop around, get a lot of activity. She's on a third floor walk up. Maybe that's the real reason she never leaves. In fact, you know something? That would explain it. If she really is on a third floor walk up, it would explain why she is never going anywhere. I mean, just getting up and down those stairs is going to be that's a struggle. I mean, if they have an elevator, that's different, but I've got a feeling that elevator probably doesn't support as much weight as an elevator out here would, or because I mean, it looks like a kind of a rundown area that she's in. Not saying that they don't have nice elevators in parts of Kuwait, but I don't think they have them in that part. Not as hot as it's gonna get. Yeah, Kuwait's gonna be, I can only imagine how hot it must be in that apartment, or it's gonna be in that apartment. It looks stuffy. Like I can't imagine they have great central AC. And imagine if it breaks for a couple days. Ooh, I would not wish that even on Foodie. But yeah, that's going to be rough, especially if it. Oh man, that's going to be rough. And she's got Ramadan coming up in just a week, so we're going to really get to see her how she reacts to that. So let's go back to Amber Lynn. Let's hear how she does her calorie counting on the Jenny Craig.
2 mini cinnamon rolls and an apple that I washed and cut up. Here is my first snack. We have an orange, a very small orange. We have an ounce of chicken. We have a light string cheese. My most favorite lunch.
Okay, I just wanted to point that out from that snack that she had a minute ago. I mean, this snack is nothing wrong with this snack, nutritionally or calorically, anything like that. But I feel like Amber is not well served with this snack. It's calorie-dense food. The cheese, that little bar, whatever that chocolate covered bar is probably some kind of a protein bar or something. I like the sliced turkey. I like the orange. But I feel like instead of the cheese and the bar, she'd be better off with just more turkey and another orange. Because she needs something that's going to fill her up more. And I feel like that cheese and that chocolate bar is just going to whet her, just going to whet her appetite for more. I don't feel like she's going to eat that and feel satisfied. I feel like that's the other thing I criticize about the Jenny Craig diet program for someone like Amber is she's eating so much. To cut down to that, that's a sensible snack. It's not tiny, but it's not large. If somebody's a heavy eater, that's not going to be enough for them. So I think she's not being realistic with that size portion.
We have a light string cheese. My most favorite lunch meat, which is the one that I'm using, is the Deli Fresh rotisserie seasoned chicken breast. This is the cheese sticks I use, which this is the Meyer brand. It is reduced fat Colby Jack. And this is a chocolate brownie Jenny Craig bar. All right, so this is my lunch. Becky's cooking her dinner. She's having spaghetti. And let's see. We have 2 cups of garden salad.
Okay, this is another thing that really bothers me. She's doing the Jenny Craig diet while her whomever that is, her friend, her girlfriend, whomever, is making a giant thing of spaghetti in the background. Now, why does that not make sense for 2 reasons? One, her girlfriend is overweight herself, and she probably, and there's no reason why Amber's on a diet and the girlfriend isn't. I'm not saying that the girlfriend needs to be on a diet. I'm just saying that if Amber's on a diet, why doesn't the girlfriend support her and go on a similar diet? It's not like she's underweight and she has to eat. She could stand to lose a couple of pounds herself. Why not keep her her girlfriend company and help her, because she certainly needs the help. By making that giant thing of spaghetti while Amber eats this green salad and this tiny little Jenny Craig portion, she is setting her up for failure. It's just, it can't possibly work. It's like your boyfriend's an alcoholic and you bring home a bottle of wine and he's just going to sit there with his sparkling water. He's not going to be able to handle it. And Ozzy, I love this comment here. You know, I'd love to encourage people to get healthy too. I love that. I try to encourage people wherever possible. And I still want to do a series of interviews. I am going to have one with Farida. Unfortunately, the one with Laura did not, we just weren't able to make it work. But if anybody else is interested, if anybody else has, it doesn't have to be a big weight loss. It could be just somebody who maintains their weight. Maybe somebody who's been unsuccessful with the weight loss, whatever. Anybody who has a story involving weight loss, a family member, I just want to talk about that. I think that would be, I just want to have like a conversation type show. And so anybody here who wants to volunteer to be the second interviewee after Farida, we're going to talk about how she maintains her weight, especially being a mother. Because I know it's a lot more difficult when your hormones change, you get a little bit older. So it's not easy to stay in shape. So that she does it, I think that's great. And we're going to be talking about that. So if anybody else would like to share an experience, either with maintaining their weight, losing weight, a family member, anything like that, just please message me on Instagram, and I'd love to have you on. Love to at least talk about it. And if anyone's uncomfortable, we could do it anonymously. We could have you as an anonymous guest, and I could just read your answers. Have somebody else read your answers or something. Oh, there's so many great comments here. Let me go back just a little bit. We got Bamboozled's excellent comment here. Amber loves the trappings of diet culture and the 3,000 calories. I said the same thing too. I feel that 3,000 calories for her would be a great place to start her weight loss if she was serious. Because she could certainly lose weight on that, and it would be a lot more realistic for her to stick to that program. Let's keep going. Yep, setting herself up with temporary, unsustainable crash diet programs. Ozzy with a great point. Some people are uncomfortable feeling hungry. They never wait to feel hungry. They snack constantly. That is true. I've been really hungry a couple, in the past, and I can say for a fact I have not been really, really hungry that often. It's even when I'm dieting, I don't let myself get that hungry because I tend to make bad decisions when I get super, super hungry. But with a lot of these people, but I at least don't say that I'm hungry. I recognize that I'm not really that hungry. I just crave something to eat. And I think a lot of people, at least people like Amber, they need to recognize that. She needs to be able to say, you know what, I crave sweets, I crave chips, I crave this, but I'm not really hungry at all. I've already eaten plenty today. But does she even understand that? Ozzy points that out. Good question. Becky, I presume that's Amber's girlfriend, has gained a significant amount of weight since they started dating. I could believe that. I mean, it's hard to, people tend to fall in with each other's habits. Oh, this is an important one here, I think. And this is something that's I've not really dipped into. Bamboozled points out that food became love to Amber years ago. Until she really digs into therapy, nothing will change. That's fair, and that's something I should mention also. I agree with that. I believe fully that Amber has psychological issues with food. It's not just simply, that she overeats. So that's why the criticism I make is more about her unrealistic diet programs rather than just, oh, look at her, she's fat, she's disgusting. I don't like to talk like that. I think that's rude. I don't think that's helpful. And I don't really know much about Amber. Maybe she is. I've heard she's kind of a nasty person behind the scenes. I don't really know the details. I'm sure I'll find out eventually. But until then, I try to keep it respectful. Let's see. Why can't the girlfriend go on a diet as well? Yeah, it's a good point. Why can't she at least go on some kind of a diet? Maybe not as extreme, but at least, go on a lighter version of this. At least eat the same kind of food. Maybe eat a little bit more, when Amber's goes to bed, maybe have a little extra serving for herself, but eat the same kind of stuff. Oh, hey there, Skinny. No problem at all. Glad glad you come by and say hi. And Skinny's going to be doing her show later, and I should hopefully be on there. Hopefully as a guest, we will see. And let me also post a link to Skinny's channel as well. I posted one earlier, but let me post one more. Since she is here. All right, let me go through the chat here real quick. Don't get a little fine. Oh, thank you, Skinny. I appreciate it. Her weight has become her identity, an armor to protect herself from the world, a scapegoat for every unexplored dream. Very poetic. Prosaic, perhaps. But I like the diction there, Bamboozled. I think a lot of people do that when they have a very big and identifiable problem. They tend to use that as their only problem. They use it as a scapegoat, like you say here. You know, somebody, she's so overweight, she probably thinks, oh, if I just lost the weight, everything would be perfect. If she lost the weight, she'd realize how much more she has to work on. And I think a lot of people who are overweight have to come to terms with that when they do eventually get the weight off, presuming they do. You know, they realize that it wasn't just the weight. You know, so what caused them to get heavy in the first place? You know, there was a point in which they were, unless they grew up, their parents always kind of fed them poorly. That's another thing that happens sometimes. But also, like that happens to a lot of drug addicts too. They sober up and then they realize they had all these issues that caused them to turn to drugs in the first place that they need to resolve. So I think that's a great point there. Oh, Ozzy points out she gained 50 pounds when she was pregnant. She keto nearly lost her mind, but it does work. That's fantastic though that she managed to get it off. I mean, that pregnancy weight can be so tough, and you know, take ton of respect that you got that off. You know, they both have pretty serious issues. English major exposed, right, Bamboozled? Hey, well, I don't mind. I enjoyed the prosaic comments. The devil you know versus the devil you don't. Quite so. I think that's a common thing. You know, you blame like somebody maybe who has money troubles. They blame all their problems on money, but then when they finally get some money, none of their problems. You know, maybe they pay off their bills. Those problems are solved. Then they just go back into debt again, and they have all the same problems again. You know, or somebody who, I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna go into too many hypotheticals, but I think you folks get my point. Yeah, that is a point, Blondie. That's unfortunate when that happens. There are some families that, you know, for one reason or another, they don't have the means to provide good nutrition on a regular basis, and that's sad. It's especially sad when some of the families, you know, it's through ignorance. They don't understand, you know, good nutrition. I've seen families that just don't. They serve very, you know, very questionable things, and they don't even consider that it might not be healthy because it's what they grew up with. I mean, I've seen a recipe for macaroni and cheese that's absolutely, I think it's terrible. It's just margarine and Velveeta, and it just tastes disgusting to me. But I've seen people who love that stuff, and you know, if you grow up on that, you may grow up loving it and thinking it's okay, but that's absolutely very unhealthy, very unhealthy. That is true, Bamboozled, especially if you go look at it price per calorie. You can get 1,000 calories at McDonald's for like $4. 1,000 calories of health food is like, I don't know, like 12. Yeah, you know, because they sell all that grease and stuff. So if you just need to fill your belly for cheap, that'll do it. You know, and then it requires you know, a lot of knowledge, because it's very easy to just put that stuff away and not consider how unhealthy it is. Yeah, unfortunately I've been in that situation myself a couple times where I, you know, instead of cooking food, I would just buy some cheap stuff, and I regret it. You know, in the long run, I'd have been better off spending, you know, trying to prioritize the healthy eating.
The dressing on here is actually a Jenny Craig dressing. It is creamy herb. have half of a banana. I have never ate this much fruit in my life. And then
That was really not a lot of fruit. just saying. That's like what, one orange and half a banana a day. I've never had this much fruit in my life.
we have a little cheeseburger moment. It's literally just a bun with some cheese and a burger.
And every day she's eating these little Jenny Craig meals while her girlfriend is in the back cooking these giant pots of looks like pasta and cheese and who knows what. But this little, this dry little cheeseburger that came out of a package does not look as good as the fresh food. It just doesn't. And again, the strength of the Jenny Craig diet is the convenience of it. It's not the quality of the food. It's that it's so convenient, it's pre-measured, and you know that you're going to stay on your diet as long as you eat the prepackaged meals. Someone in Amber's situation, it just does not make sense. It does not make sense. It's a very poor choice. Hey, Farida, glad you could make it. Thank you for coming by. Yep, we're just talking a little bit about Amber. We're just winding it down. Let me post also another link to Farida's channel. I posted one earlier. I shall post another. 1 second here. Yeah, be sure to check out Farida as well. I don't know when her next cooking show is, but or maybe another stream that she's going to be doing. But yeah, give her a look. The last one she just did, it was on Monday. It was a great one. I was on there. I helped announce for her. I think it was a really good one. She actually made a very healthy meal. It was a quinoa bowl with chicken breast tenders. Even more than that, it was more interesting. But the good thing I can report about it is it came out to 450 calories and 32 grams of protein for the whole meal. So it was really, I strongly recommend it. It was very easy to make as well, too. So if you're not the most experienced chef, it's a good one to start with. Let's go back to this video here.
And I do have some mustard right here. This is spicy mustard. This is like hands down a lot of food, like high. All right, you guys, so it's time for me to eat yet again. And this meal is half of my banana from earlier and some low-fat milk. Okay, you guys.
See, now that to me is also a little silly. She's talking the half a banana thing. Now, I understand that maybe on the program, that's how many calories she's supposed to have. But that's why I don't think this is a good program for her. I'm no dietitian, but I can't imagine any dietitian thinking it would make sense to tell Amber, only eat half a banana. Don't eat a whole banana. That's too many calories. A whole banana? No, that's too much for you, Amber. If you eat that whole banana, it's gonna. I don't like that idea for your. Eat the darn banana. Have the extra 40 calories of fruit. I mean, as far as what this woman eats, that is not the reason why she's overweight. Eating a whole banana is. And I would tell her to eat a banana with every meal if she wants. If that's what will satisfy her and help her stay on the diet, having an extra 200 calories of bananas every day, probably not even. Then have them. That's what I'm saying here. And that's not to say that the Jenny Craig program is bad, but that's part of why I don't think it's a good choice for Amber. Because it's for somebody who's not so overweight. It's for somebody who needs to go on a low-calorie diet to lose weight because they are not so overweight to begin with. Like a few people have pointed out by now, Amber does not need a low-calorie diet to lose weight. She can lose weight on a normal diet, on a healthy diet for most people would be a weight loss diet for Amber. So I think we need to, that's something else. That's going to be a new Dr. Phil rule. We need to disassociate low calorie from weight loss. If somebody's very overweight, they can be on a weight loss diet that is not low calorie. You can lose weight without being on a low calorie diet, depending what your calories are. And by low calorie, I mean compared to the average recommendation for a person of average weight.
It is dinner time. First thing I get is...
First thing she gets is some cat food and some baking soda. She's on a very strict diet, this one. No actual human food. This is the new Amber diet. No, I'm just kidding.
2 almonds. This is just like a healthy fat. So that's what I chose. We're just sitting right here for now. So for dinner, I have a ton of green beans. And then this is mac and cheese with carrots and broccoli. We are here for the last.
Yeah, and again, these Jenny Craig meals, they average about 240 calories. If you add in the vegetables on the side, these meals are only about 300 calories each. I don't see any way Amber could eat a 300 calorie meal and be satisfied. I just don't see how that's possible. Let me see your comments, folks. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. Oh yeah, and I love Ozzy's idea to work on affordable recipes as well. I think that would be great for Rita. Because that's something that if you could also say like, hey, this recipe not only is it healthy, but it came in at only, $3 a serving or $2 a serving, whatever it is, I think people would love that. I think people would absolutely love that. Yeah, this Jenny Craig phase. And Jenny Craig is just too extreme a diet for somebody as heavy as Amber. If you're somebody, who's maybe wants to lose 10, 15 pounds, I think Jenny Craig would be a good choice, especially if you don't have time really to cook. You're not a good cook. But for someone like Amber, who's so heavy, it's absolutely unrealistic in every way. Yeah, it is not sustainable, Skinny. Agreed. Yeah, agreed, Farida. It's too restrictive for her. And also the way that her girlfriend is always cooking. Look at all that stuff in the background there. She's this whole house full of all these other foods, and she's trying to stick to this little 250 calorie little plate of pasta, that comes in a bag. It's not even that delicious. Far too many temptations to stick to a diet that's so darn restrictive. Yeah, she just can't do it. She just can't do it. All right, folks, we're going to start winding it down, but we're going to still be here for like about another 15, 20 minutes. So let's keep it going with Amber's Jenny Craig lessons.
Meal, which is my snack.
Let me just also say once more, I have nothing against the Jenny Craig program, but like Skinny said, like Farida said, like everyone said, it's a terrible choice for Amber. And I always like to say that there's a lot of good diet programs, but that doesn't mean they're good for every person. There's some programs that are terrible for some, great for others. Like I'm somebody who really needs the flexibility of a calorie counting type diet. I'm like a bit of a picky eater. I have a weird tastes. I need the freedom to be able to eat, be able to choose my own menu because I have such odd choices half the time. Whereas somebody who, they like more of a structured menu. They would prefer something like the Jenny Craig diet where they have the same stuff, every week, that kind of thing.
Having a cocoa and nut bar. I'm pretty pumped.
That was all one day. Wow. That's how something that, again, that's one thing that Jenny Craig does well is they give you a lot of frequency with the food, but the actual portion sizes are very small. So it's, it depends if that's going to work for you or not. But that's something worth keeping in mind about it.
Hey guys, so welcome to day 2 of me being on Jenny Craig. Okay.
I don't even know if we're gonna make it through the whole 6 days.
Meal number 1, which is breakfast.
We might not even make it through as many days as Amber did on this diet.
We have a serving of 1% milk.
Okay, I like the milk for breakfast. Oh, and one thing I want to say too, soy milk, almond milk. I don't know so much about soy milk, but almond milk tastes good. I like the taste. And if you're lactose intolerant, you got to do what you got to do. But it has so much less protein than traditional milk. So if you don't have an issue with traditional dairy, I'm a big fan of just regular dairy milk because it's so rich in proteins. You can really, it's a drink that you can make it that's like a meal because it has so much protein in it. You could just drink some milk and it could be your meal. Not saying it's good for everybody, but if you're somebody who tolerates milk well, you like to drink milk, it's a good choice.
I washed an apple, cut it up, so we have a serving of fruit. And then over here, we have a breakfast sandwich. This is called the Sunshine Sandwich, I think is what they call it. Super cute. Okay, you guys, so it is meal number 2, which is my first snack. We're having a serving of fruit. So I chose an orange, light cheese stick, an ounce of rotisserie chicken, and this is Jenny Craig's chocolate fudge brownie bar, which I did a taste test yesterday. All right, you guys, so it is time for meal 3, which would be lunch. I have a banana, half of a banana.
Just you know, I've said it a couple times already, but we're nearing the end. I'm just going to repeat it for anybody who just came in. Like Sherry, glad you can make it in. Thank you for coming by. And Farida, if they sue me, they're gonna be very disappointed with what they get. But yeah, just gonna mention it one more time that I feel like that Amber's lack of nutritional knowledge is making this so much harder than it needs to be, because if she made a few changes, even though I don't necessarily like this program for her, she could have modified it to make it work better. Like, you see where she has the half a banana? I said it before. Just have the whole banana. It's, what is it, 50 more calories? She'll be just fine. She's got a window of another 800 calories she could eat and still be losing weight easily. And another one with the chicken. Why only one slice? It's 10 calories for one slice. Why can't you have 2 or 3? That's the place where I feel like it's good to have that nutritional knowledge, because sometimes people don't realize where you can have a little bit extra and it's not going to hurt you. If you're only having 1 slice of chicken breast, it's okay to have a second slice of chicken breast. That is perfectly fine. I mean, now if anybody follows that advice and they gain a bunch of weight, don't blame me.
Have 2 cups of a garden salad, and the dressing I'm using today is the Jenny Craig balsamic. And then we have chicken fettuccine. Time for meal 4, which is my second snack. Having half of the banana and 8 ounces of milk. This is a vitamin water. This is a vitamin water, 0 sugar in lemonade, you guys. This is freaking delish, so I'm gonna have that. All right, you guys, so it is time for meal 5, which is my dinner. First things first, we have a healthy fat, so I have just the tiniest bit of almonds.
We're going to skip ahead a little bit because she's
And
eating
then
basically the same thing every day.
1% milk.
I'm just going to skip ahead a little because she's eating basically the same thing every day.
I am having a cinnamon coffee cake. I'm excited to try this, and an apple. All right, you guys, so it's time for meal 2, which is my first snack. So I know this seems repetitive, but we are having some protein, which I chose.
And who wants to bet that she didn't even make it actually stay on these diets? I mean, apparently she went off the diet after 6 days, but I have trouble believing she was even really on it for 6 days. Because if she was really on this 1,600 calorie per day diet, she would be hungry. She'd be irritable. You know what I mean? Like it's if you're somebody who's a food addict and you don't get your food, you're going to be irritable. Like any addict who doesn't get their fix of whatever it is. Oh, this is an interesting point here by Green Eyed Lady. Before Amber was a success on YouTube, she couldn't afford to eat the way she eats, just like Foodie Beauty. I think their success and their money went down their throats. You know, Green Eyed Lady, I think that's sad, and I think it might be true. When we consider the delivery in particular, I don't know what Amber's situation is, but I know about Foodie as far as the delivery, and it was nuts. She was getting delivery 2-3 times a day, I believe, at one point. Multiple deliveries a day, and she could drive herself. She lives in Canada. It's not like she lives, you know, out in the wilderness somewhere and she has to order food to be delivered by plane. And if they come too late at night, they might get attacked by a bear or something. You know, why can't she just go get her own foods? But failing that, delivery 2 to 3 times a day of ordering out for food, and it's not. And from my understanding, she was ordering unhealthy stuff most of the time. It's not like she was ordering out because she wanted to maintain some diet. If she was ordering out because she's like, you know what, I got all this extra money, I'm going to eat nothing but health food. I'm just going to order out from this. I have a chef who makes health food only, and I'm going to pay all this extra money to hire this chef to make meals for me to order, to keep my calories down and to make sure I get my paneer, but still in a way that keeps the calories down for me. That would have been a big investment, but in her case, it might have been a good one. I mean, I don't think most of us could afford to do that. But if she was going to get food delivered, why not take that money and invest it into getting health foods delivered? Now, yes, she wants to eat junk food, okay, whatever, but you can eat nutritious food and enjoy it. I think that's something a lot of people, well, I would say a lot, but I think some people don't realize that. I think in their mind, they think either it's healthy or it's tasty. And yes, sometimes, healthy food is not as tasty as unhealthy food, sometimes. But there are a lot of healthy foods that are delicious. And when you have plenty of money and you could hire a chef, they will make the healthy food delicious. Like Frida's made that bowl the other day. It was delicious and it was super healthy. You could get a McDonald's hamburger. It tastes like crap. That's just as many calories. Never stays on a diet longer than 5 days or so. I could believe that. If Foodie was burning that money on the takeout, on the deliveries, and for Pete's too. Pete's got heavy too. They both ordered Uber Eats constantly every night. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I don't like to use that stuff. I just don't like to use the delivery. And, all respect to the delivery drivers. If I use one, I give them a tip, but I just can't justify that expense regularly. Sherry, she's not always straight up with us. Amber has said a couple times, she's given us an accurate calorie account a couple times, and she said it was over 5,000. So if Foodie's of a similar weight and a similar size, she would have to be on a similar diet. The numbers, yes, people's numbers vary, but the numbers, once you figure out what they are, they generally hold steady. Like, I remember when I calculated the amount of calories it took for me to maintain my body weight when I was at 280 or so, and it was like, I believe it said like 3,200 calories a day or something, 3,300 calories a day, something like that. Sure, but you know what? I don't know if that was right or if it was wrong as far as being exact, but when I went under that, the weight came off. So it couldn't have been that wrong. You know what I mean? And I know it's different for men and women, and it's different depending on your age and your hormones. There's a lot of factors. So I'm not saying that some calorie calculator, you should assume that it's correct, because it might not be. But if you get accurate information about yourself, chances are, you're going to fall in with a normal range, somewhere on that range. You're not going to be an outlier who can gain 100 pounds on 1,000 calories a day. That just doesn't happen. And I've never heard of it happening. Whenever we get these people like Amber who claim that they're not eating, but they keep gaining weight, whenever they're put into a medically supervised environment, the weight always comes right off. So, and then she threw all her Uber Eats bags all over the floor. Can't stand looking at Foodie anymore. Prefer Amber. I enjoy Foodie for the drama, but yeah, if I just had to pick one to look at, Amber definitely is less aggressive on the eyes. We'll say it like that. Yeah, I think that's another thing too. I think Amber's been heavy for a while, whereas Foodie, when she wasn't as heavy, I think she kind of held it together a little better, but she's not wearing the weight. The weight's starting to have a negative appearance. Well, sorry, I don't even want to get into this subject, but yeah, I get what you're saying. You make a good point. And she is going to continue to gain because she's not eating well. I did the math last time she was there on Kuwait season 1. And we did the math, Skinny and and I think maybe Frida was there. I don't remember, but we calculated it out, and I want to say we came up with 3 to 4 pounds a week is what we believed she was gaining, because it was like 6,000 calories a day, something, and I figured that her maintenance calories are probably about 4,000, so I figured she's probably overeating by about 2,000 calories a day, and so that's 14,000 calories a week. which is 4 pounds a week. That was my logic. So, and at that rate, that's what, about 15 pounds a month or so, give or take. And that's basically what I think she put on last time. I think she put on about 40 pounds or so maybe a little bit less than that. But those numbers make a lot of sense to me. And the people I've heard estimate her weight based on her appearance and based on other factors have typically come to a similar number that I did through my dietary extrapolation. So that's why I think it's an accurate number. I think, and like Green Eye Lady said, she's going to continue to gain at the weight. And I'm not saying that in any, because I think it's a good thing or I'm gloating over it. In fact, I hope for her sake, I'm not going to say wish, but I hope for her sake that she takes this seriously and at least, stops gaining. I'm not saying she's got to go on a diet. Nobody has to do anything they don't want to do. But just, for Salah's sake, so that you can at least go out with him. I'm sure he wants to, right? Because you're so in love. I'm sure he wants to go hang out with you. So why don't you just go out with him, right? Keep that weight down so you and him can have more romantic time together. Amberlynn does have a beautiful house, keeps it very clean. Yeah, I was surprised at how nice it was, how nice she keeps it. Ooh, yeah, Foodie has got a lot of issues inside and out. I will agree with that. Oh, the pretty privilege for Foodie. Yeah, that was too much, the pretty privilege. She's pretty privileged, but doesn't have pretty privilege. You know what I mean. She's privileged, but she's not pretty privileged. Whatever. She's lucky to have what she has. We'll say it like that. Whatever little that is. And I also will be curious. What happens during Ramadan. My prediction is, and I've said this on a few places. I said this on Skinny's channel as well. That I think that she's got her Ramadan stash in her Quran. I think that she's hollowed out the book, and that way she can carry it around with her, and she can keep a stash of candy in there for when she gets hungry. And she could just walk around with her Quran like she's being holy, and then she could say, "Oh, I have to go to the restroom, ladies, the little girl's room, excuse me." And then she opens up, and then she has the stash of candy in there. How will she fast? Very slowly. Yeah, I think that is true. Men typically do lose weight faster than women. I think that's because men typically have, there's a number of reasons. I think it's hormonal. And I'm not a scientist. I don't want to, but it seems to be the case the majority of the time. Hey, I don't mind, but I'm sorry, ladies. I wish it was easier for you. 68 candy bars? Really? It was a massive bag of candy. I didn't realize it was quite that many. That is nutty. And I'm not talking about payday candy bars being nutty. I'm talking about the sheer quantity of the candy bars. That's a lot of candy. I told you, that's the Ramadan stash. That she's prepping for Ramadan because she knows that if she's not going to be able to make a lot of noise cooking, or it might be against the law there. I don't know, but yeah, she's got that stash for the holiday.
Cheese stick and chicken lunch meat.
We're getting toward 8:30, so we're going to wind this down, but I want to at least get to the end of this video.
Just a small orange, and then the fudge brownie chocolate bar thingy-majigger. Hey guys, so it's time for meal 3, which is my lunch.
Thingy-majigger.
We're having a huge salad as per usual. I put onion, it's balsamic vinaigrette.
That's what we're doing.
And then I have half of a banana. And today we have a turkey burger on top of a potato bun.
Hey guys, so I stopped filming after this because I did overeat. Some will call it a binge, and that's okay. So I ordered PF Chang's.
I will say this. Respect to Amber for being honest, but I have a feeling she hasn't been honest all week. I've got a feeling that up to this point she has not been sticking to this diet because it's a 1,600 calorie diet, and she would be irritable and unhappy if she was really restricting herself that much. So I don't think that she is.
And I got Kung Pao chicken, and it comes with a side of rice. So that would have been totally fine, and that wouldn't have been like a binge.
Wait, so you agree? That was a binge?
2 hours later, I could not stop thinking about McDonald's French fries. I did get the 2 large fries, and I still didn't eat the second large fry. I just ate 1 large fry. And then I got 20-piece nugget.
Okay. Looking at these numbers here, you know what? I take back what I said. I could see why she's not uptight, because she has not been sticking to that diet. She stuck to the diet on the first day. Good for her. Day 2, she already went off with a binge. Day 3, she went over by a pretty good margin. Although, to be fair, I really think if she was sat at 2250 every day, she would have lost a good amount of weight. So I don't really have an issue with that. The binge, not good. 1734, that's on target. And 3579. 3579, even if she was restricting to an extent, would probably be a little too much. I think 3,000 is a good number for a diet. She might lose weight at 3579. I don't know. But yeah, this shows here that she, like Farida said, she can't stay on a diet for 5 days. She didn't even stay on it for 2 days. And I'm not trying to make fun of her. I'm just pointing out that well, I guess I'm making fun just a little bit because she's done this so often. You know, if I don't think it's funny that she can't stick to her diet, but I think it's funny how predictably she fell off. Let's just let it run to the end here.
To summarize, the only successful days were day 1 and day 5. However, Amber still kept losing weight.
517.8. 515.
Well, Sherry, you know what? I would love for you to contact me on Instagram, because that's the kind of thing that, first of all, I'd like to look up some information, because I know about diabetes in general, but I'd like to look up a little bit more before I start, giving any information or tips or anything. And again, I'm not a doctor. But I just like to hear a little bit about what you already eat. Maybe we could, on Instagram, you could just send me like a message about some of the things you like to eat, and, maybe some of your exercise program and things like that. Like, we'll talk about it, because I definitely would love to help if I could. And I just want to make sure I give you accurate information. So I don't want to just shoot from the hip during the show.
Four.
514.2.
512.6. 511.6.
509.2.
This is a bit risky because the diet is reinforcing to her that it's okay to binge on top of Jenny Craig food.
I love that I can eat things like this and lose weight. It's pretty freaking.
See, that's remember we said earlier about how she can eat 3,000 a day and she'll still lose weight? I think that this bears that out, because we looked at those numbers and I said, look, even though she's had these binges, she's still probably only averaging about 3,000 calories a day. So she's still going to lose weight, but she's doing it in the worst way possible. She's doing it by eating this Jenny Craig stuff and then binging on top of that. And then she's got no structure to it. This is not in any way sustainable. This is not a diet this is not any kind of a diet. This is just her just trying random stuff, and just happening to get a little bit lucky. But yeah, let's watch the end here. Let's finish it out. Whoops.
Amazing.
We have to keep in mind that, at the end of the day, Jenny Craig is a business. They are quite expensive, even though their website claims otherwise. They send you prepackaged food. You get used to eating those, maybe lose weight at some point. But when you inevitably stop eating their food, you still haven't set up better habits. You still have not learned how to cook your own meals and what are the proper foods to eat. And so you go back to your old habits, which led you to being 500 pounds in the first place. I believe in the power of hard work, setting healthy habits for yourself, and not just looking for a quick fix. And after this cycle, after continuously failing this expensive Jenny Craig diet, all I can say, Amber, you cannot buy your way to weight loss.
That is a really great statement there from, I believe that's the channel owner, the woman, the person, I'm presuming the woman who made that video. Let me put a link to her channel in here because I think that's just a fantastic statement that she made to end it. I can't really say it much better than that. Yeah, she's definitely eating something in secret. The Jenny Craig diet is so restrictive that for her to not be going crazy like that is not to be going crazy, gnawing at the walls. But then again, she did go off and binge. But oh, by the way, welcome FM1. Thank you for coming in. We're actually just about to shut it down for the night, but thank you for coming by. And I should be making an appearance on Skinny Queen's panel tonight, hopefully. And just want to say at the end here, thank you for everyone who came by. I appreciate every single one of you. You were a fantastic audience. I love all the chat. I love the way everybody's sharing their knowledge, being supportive. You know, thankfully, you know, everybody's being respectful. This has really been great. And oh, Green Eyed Lady comments. She has childhood diabetes. Okay, so that makes it even tougher to lose that weight. That's really impressive that you managed to have that success despite having a medical issue as well. So that's really tough. Yeah, and she's given some. I mean, yeah, and this sounds like good information. You know, I mean, if she has diabetes herself, she certainly would know. Non-starchy vegetables such as broccoli and high fiber fruit like apples, lean sources of protein. Yeah, and I think that's good advice for anybody really on any kind of diet. I also know I know the glycemic index is a big deal. Like when you have diabetes, you want to avoid high glycemic index carbs. That's like the most advanced stuff I guess I know about diabetes, the glycemic index. But yeah, but these are all things that are really good to eat on any diet, in my opinion. So I think that's a great way to end it. Good night, folks. I will see you around, and thank you all for coming by. And I will be around on Instagram, on YouTube channels here and there. You know, I enjoy this community, so I plan to be floating around in various ways. Good night, everyone. See you around. Be blessed. Dr. Phil signing out.